the Black Lantern Batman. Just give me a second or two so that I can set things up on my end. And it should leave some of you guys some time to log in. Almost there, almost there. And there we go. So all my changes are saved, so we're good to go. So today we're going to play with our friend, the Blackest Knight, the Black Lantern Batman. I guess Blackest Knight Batman would work as well. It's been a while since I played with him, so let's make a quick. Basically, the loadout I'm using right now is a Haunt, Malediction, Life Drain, Plague, Deathmark, and Consume Soul. So let's start things easy. Let's start with the Vault. And we'll work our way up from there. Oh, I just realized something. Now we can still reset the fragmentation, the stabilizer fragmentation. I thought they would remove that at some point. I guess not. I guess I never got around to removing it. They were supposed to remove the option of replaying it, which technically is pointless. Instead, if you want to replay the mission for fragments and use replays for that, you may as well just purchase stabilizers. Well, let's pull back a bit and let's continue. Been a while since I played with this character, so I'll probably be a little rusty when it comes to the combos. We'll see. So let's see what we got. I guess it seems we only got the mask and that's it. It happens. Sometimes we don't really get anything. So it's the double marked build weekend. So let's go to the Hall of Doom and we'll go fight some Riddler goons and some Joker goons. And this being the Halloween weekend, or almost, I'll probably play the Halloween missions a bit. I guess why we'll have to wait and see. And this time I'm going to play from the villain's perspective. As you can see, I'm in the Hall of Doom. Because my Black Lantern Batman is an evil Black Lantern. I probably should. Last time I came here on the PvP side, there was these evil villains these evil heroes who actually could come all the way up to here, put a whole bunch of mines and cause a bit of trouble. So we're going to switch phase just in case of that. Not a big issue, but it could be annoying after a bit. Which is why we have the phase shifter. Very easy to switch from one to the other. Also, you can also see how there's not that many people, sadly, on the PvP side and for the villains. Because the other issue also will have, hello Vine Upload. The other issue we'll have if we stay on the PvP side is that if we try to join a group for the 333 mission, as soon as someone will invite us, we won't be able to phase with them because odds are they'll be on the PvE side. So we may as well switch to the PvE side right away. Basically, I got it happened a couple of times where actually I said invite for 333 mission or something like that. Someone would invite me, only to realize that oopsie, I was on the PvP side and I had to switch. So we may as well do that right away. You're always here. Ah, you're so sweet. I'm always here too. Almost. Oh, I talked to her already. So how's it going, Vinyl Upload? Do you have any big plans for the Mark to Build weekends, or the Halloween weekends, I suppose? Although Halloween is not this weekend, I think it's what, next Monday, Tuesday? I always forget. I guess it's next Tuesday. So let's see if we can maybe find a group. And also today, it was a bit tempting to binge watch Stranger Things. The new season of Stranger Things was released, I think today. At least I just noticed it today. So I assume it was released today. Oh, wrong one. Two weeks. It happens. There was a time where I was so busy with work. I was like 3, 4, almost 6 months without playing. Hey, during that time, I think I logged into my PS3 like a handful of times at most. Well, let's go where our friends are, and if we have to, we'll complete our missions. Hello, Raxian. Yeah, school will do that sadly sometimes. They'll keep you busy and stop you from playing. Well, let's pull back a bit more. I'll be honest with you, I don't miss school. I guess that's one way to see Batman. No, wrong guy. Poor Batman. Why are you so mean with him? Did you guys watch the episode of Gotham last night? Oh no, I'll be too late. Too late? Ah. That was a fun episode, although we didn't see Bruce Wayne at all. I was wondering how they would deal with whatever happened last week, and they didn't. Because we haven't seen our friend Bruce Wayne. So I guess we're gonna have to wait for next week for that. Hello, Stone Nation. Oh, let's grab that little friend here. I know some people go crazy if you do anything other than just fighting enemies, but oh well. They're both they're different, I suppose. Oh yeah, watch DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I pretty much watch all the TV shows, the DC TV shows. I watch Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Lucifer, Gotham. Gotham is probably the one I like the least, and it's still pretty darn good most of the time. Of course. Hello, John Henry. Of course I remember you. I looked up for the Wonder Woman tiara you were saying about, or you were talking about. Sadly, you're gonna have to play the mission and hope to be lucky at some point. Not sure what else I can offer you at this point. Wrong guy. So our friend Stone Nation wants to see the black Batman suit. I didn't miss anything, I think. Basically, this is pretty simple the way I made this look. Obviously, I'm using the Batman cowl. The Dark Knight cowl, sorry. For the chest piece, it's quite simply the, what's it called? Herald of the Black chest piece. For the back piece, I went with, what's it called again? The tattered cape. My other armory, I'm actually using the Batwoman cape. The boots, the tall classic boots, always work well with Batman. For the waist, in this case, I went with the Future Crusader. The legs are like the two color slimline. And I'm sure I forgot something. Oh well. Oh yeah, and for the skin, basically the skin, there's this skin that kind of looks like a zombie skin, like undead. And in order to be able to get it all white, you have to not only color the skin like really pale or white, but you also have to color the makeup. Basically the makeup, we won't really see. You can see where some of the skin is influenced by the color of the makeup. So if you really want to have like a non-dead like looking character with really white skin, put the makeup white as well. Otherwise, you're gonna have a whole bunch of red. Well, of whatever the makeup's color is. I'll fight some enemies and then I'll show my other armory afterwards. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk to Two-Face. Well, this is pretty much a zombie Batman. I guess we're not going to do the multi-tool just yet. But if you want a zombie Batman, Black Lantern Batman is pretty much it. I don't need to fight Killer Croc. I already have the iconic I need, so let's go for the transporter. And the episode last night wasn't bad. You almost feel sorry for poor Grundy. I have no idea how to change from Euro to US. I'm gonna have to look it up myself, so can't really help you for that. Sorry about that. Well, maybe someday, many years from now, they'll merge the US and the European servers. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. Born on a Monday, but featured on TV on a Thursday. Damn, that fire hurts. Well, I already have a Spider-Man, and I even have a Green Lantern Batman, but those are on PC, and lately I haven't been playing on PC all that much. Most of my gaming time has been spent on PlayStation 4. I guess I should play a bit more with my PC character, or at least make videos a bit more with them. I'll see what I can do about that. Hello, Daffy. So I thought my Black Lantern Batman would be appropriate, seeing how we're close, pretty close to Halloween, and also we have the Halloween seasonal right now already. But with the bonus marked Bills weekend, it was hard not not to be tempted to play the Riddler missions. I've been playing for a while, so I guess well, I've been playing for a long time, so and you do level up fairly quickly in this universe online. I know that strangely enough, often I'll see strange enough, I'll see sometimes people complaining that it takes them a long time to level up in this universe online, but it's actually pretty quick, I find. And that's just playing the game. Of course, if you try to power level, I could probably power level even faster. I got what you meant, John Henry. I don't play GTA 5, so I'm glad they have a Batmobile. Is it a Batmobile we already saw? Is it the Batmobile from like the 1989 Batman film? Is it the Batmobile from the TV shows from the 60s? Or is it another Batmobile? Is it the Batmobile from Batman v Superman? I see. I think why we saw something similar on Arkham Knights, or I could be misremembering. But again, for going up in level, you do level up fairly quickly in this universe online. And I've been playing for 6 years, so that's probably why I have a lot of characters that are somewhat high level. The Nimbus Aura? I think it came from booster bundles. The first Nimbus Aura, pretty sure it came from booster bundles. The Smoke Aura, I'm not sure about that. Probably the booster bundles as well. For a while, that's pretty much where you could get all those special-looking aura was from the booster bundles. But nowadays, it's pretty much from the time capsules. And there's a few that you can even get from the marketplace. If you look, and sometimes it'll depend on the seasonal. Like during the Halloween seasonal, you have access to the Ghost Aura or the Phantom Aura, I forget. Just a sec. The booster bundles, we haven't had any in quite some time, and now you pretty much get those auras from the time capsules. The problem with the booster bundles is that the booster bundles were always for a limited time. So for example, the first Nimbus aura we had, it was in the booster bundles, and if you didn't get that aura in the bundles at that time, sadly, it was exclusive to those bundles. So once the bundles were discontinued, sadly you no longer can purchase the bundles, and you no longer can get the aura unless someone kept some and decides to put them on the marketplace. So that's a bit of a flaw for the booster bundle. The booster bundle, it was like you had to buy it right there and then. Otherwise, if you missed it, well, too bad, you missed it. Let you see. Okay, I'll try to. I can't invite you. I'm not the group leader. Sorry. Nothing I can do about that. No, my power is a celestial. I took celestial because some of those like nice looking skulls kind of give the illusion of a Black Lantern power, sort of, I thought. So right now in the marketplace, there's the what's it called again? All right, so the Ghost Aura. Okay, so there's the Ghost Aura that you can get right now in the marketplace, and of course there's a whole bunch of other like the Slim Red Aura. Pretty sure you can get that one on the marketplace. I think you can get the Dark Purple Aura as well. Yeah, PC, PS3, and PS4 all play on the same server. But it is a split US and European, EU. So US and EU servers are two different servers. And of course, Xbox have their own servers. I can't. I'm not the group leader. I cannot invite you to the group. I think we might be done for the 333. So King Lantern. Let's see if it works. Is this how it is? That seems wrong somehow. King Lantern. No, no, that's what you wrote. Okay. It says player not found. Hello, Viper Gamer. Okay, so let's go and complete our missions, and then we'll go to something else. It depends. I remember when I first went to the Hall of Doom, I was a little lost, even though it's technically it's pretty much the same configuration. Oh, I think I'll keep that one for last. Technically, it's the same configurations, but the way that the Hall of Doom was made. Basically, once you get used to, let's say, the Watchtower, when you go into the Hall of Doom, it's a bit weird, even though it's technically the same setup, more or less the same way. And the opposite is also true. I had friends who got used to the Hall of Doom, and when they were in the Watchtower, they were completely lost. Well, I believe that it depends on which one you got used to first. If you get used to the Hall of Doom first, usually the Hall of Doom probably is easier for you than to navigate. If you get used to the Watchtower first, then the Hall of Doom feels weird. It's a case by case basis, I suppose. The good thing about Celestial is that even if you're in DPS role, you can still heal yourself a bit. And often just that little bit of heal that you get makes quite a difference. Okay, let's do probably my least favorite mission. Where is it?
Even you should be able to figure out how to use the multi-tool you've just picked up. Fire melts ice. Chemical compound dampens electricity. Water puts out fire. And the butt of the device can be used to crack open the Joker presence. Now get to freeing the Riddler's head. I thought I was...
I always forget which one is this one. Oh, there we go.
Thanks, I guess.
So basically, there's these combos you have to use with the rifle, and then depending on which clown or which NPC you want to free, you have to use different powers. In some cases, it's easy, like the when the NPC are trapped in a big gift, you use the power with the gift. But sometimes when they're just standing there, then it can be a little trickier to figure out which one to use. But usually through trial and error, you'll figure it out.
But I don't care. Gotta get out of here.
Well, I think we're done with that part. Pretty sure there's still one more left to do. Let's check. I guess we're pretty much done here. Although I probably forgot, it's probably too late, but let's see if we can still salvage this. Basically, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but in case you guys didn't see it, in order to be able to get the Omnipotence collections and this DLC, you need to have the following feat. Basically, there's a feat you get if you complete the Batman Beyond the set of gear, or if you complete the Riddler set of gear, you get this feat called Quantifiable Street Cred. Once you get that feat, you have a chance. I insist on you have a chance to get an OP collection. It's not a guarantee, but you do have a chance to get an OP collections as a reward doing certain missions. Usually it's the missions that will give you a reward box that will give you a chance to get the OP collection, like this the little box we've got just here. It's usually with some of the group missions, like the 333 mission, or the mission to get like a 50, what's it called? 50 transporter Riddler goons. So anyways, so let's take a look at all our rewards. And then we'll move on to do something else. Tempting, but let's go for the cow. I probably should have checked which piece I have, which is higher level. The cowl was the good call. We got lucky, but sometimes luck is all you really need. Let's go for the charm. The sash, why not? The weapon, of course. Also, the weapon is 171, the shoulders are 170. Doesn't really matter because it's going to scale to my level, but still. I guess I should do some cleaning up. So as you saw, we didn't get anything worth it from our reward boxes, but as I mentioned, we just get a chance. Although I'm almost starting to wonder if it doesn't work when you play with a character that gets raised up to level 197. I don't recall getting an OP collection with such a character, but if I did, it's been a while. No, thank you. So next, let us go to Gotham. I'll have a bit of house cleaning to do in my inventory, but I'll do that later. And the same with whatever gear I have. So let's go to Gotham and let's play a bit some of the Halloween seasonal, and then we'll play the 4-player seasonal afterwards. I have a few posters I never picked up. And also one of the reasons why I have a bunch of characters that are somewhat high level is that I don't try to do everything. I do the missions I like. If there's a mission I don't like, I just don't do it. So it does speed up the process a bit. And for doing this mission, I'm going to switch Armory. There's a few reasons for that. I'll explain that in a bit. Basically, whether we like it or not, for the Halloween missions, we're clamped. Not just for the 4-player missions, where we're clamped at level 34, I think. But even in the the open world missions, you'll notice that when you attack the enemies in the open world missions, you do 1 point of damage no matter what combat rating you are. If you're combat rating 100, 162, or combat rating 34, you do 1 point of damage per attack. So it's a little pointless then to try to do so to even be in DPS role, because whether you're in DPS role or whether you're in healer role, like in this case, you're still doing 1 point of damage. I forgot my shield. Usually as a healer, I don't use my shields all that much. For a long time, the healer shield were very weak. I thought that they would pretty much disappear as quickly as you summoned the shield. So you would summon the shield, and half a quarter of a second later, the shield would be gone, barely absorbing any damage. From what I understand, the shield were working for either X amount of damage or like 2 hits. So as soon as you would get 2 hits, the shield would be gone, which pretty much made it pointless. Doesn't seem to be as bad now, so I should probably get into the habit of using shields a bit more. But as a rule of thumb, I would use shields mostly if I was in controller. A controller had pretty strong shield, so when I was in controller role, I would use a shield, or playing a controller role. But if I was playing a healer shield, most of the time I wouldn't really bother with those. Oh yeah, I forget. As a hero, you're supposed to save the NPCs. As a villains, you're supposed to defeat them. So if you ever wondered what difference there was between both, well, that's one of the differences. And as I always say, never pass up a free exhibit. Exhibit are always good, whether you use them for crafting or whether you use them to sell on a broker. It's always worth it to have exhibits. Sure, they're not worth as much as they used to be on the broker. This is Celestial. I forgot the combo. Tap melee, tap range, tap melee, old range. Oh, there we go. You've never seen Celestial before? Oh, I got a little too close to the hero spawn point. Hello, Squid. It's a pretty cool power if you like to use combos. This power is for you. If you don't like using combos, then I would strongly suggest use anything else. And for the look, for those who are wondering, basically I'm using the Dark Knight Call, the Batwoman Cape. The bracers are the Sinistro bracers. The chest is the Stalwart Defender chest. Hello, Spider Boy. Of course, that's the Black Lantern emblem. The belt is the Bane belt. The pants are the two-color slimline, and the boots are the tall classic boots. And the skin, of course, is the undead skin. So if you get all that, you can make yourself a pretty cool Black Lantern Batman, I think. So almost there. Oh, my favorite DC character has to be Batman. Wasn't always the case. When I was a kid, like when I was about 10, I discovered the Flash, and I really enjoyed that character at the time. So for a bit, Flash was, you could say, my favorite. Oh, someone is going crazy in the versus chat. You knew. What gave me away? I think we're done here. Well, the Avatar is one of the nicest one I have from PS4. Probably should get a custom avatar at some point. Although I'm not sure if it's possible on PS4. I would have to look it up. So let's see if we can cure for the Midnight Masquerade. Pretty sure we can cure, but let's see how long it... Oh, that was quick. I'm a bit surprised. Usually towards the end of the event, a lot of people are either fed up with the event and aren't really playing it anymore, or they pretty much collected all the stuff they needed and aren't really queuing for the mission. But I guess we got lucky. Although it is Friday, so that is a Celestial. Now, I can understand some of your surprises. It's not a power we see all that often. We see a lot of players playing Fire, a lot of players playing Rage, Ice. But I guess, yeah, Celestial is not a power we see all that often. Usually healers will use Sorcery, or lately Electric has been seems to be a pretty popular one. Hello, Master Raid. Oh, we didn't get our exhibit. I'm so sad. Why is it purple? Uh, that's the color the power is. I'm not sure. You mean the aura? The aura is the dark purple aura that I'm using for this character. The purple in the powers, that's pretty much what the purple the power looks like. There's basically two colors for the powers depending on what powers you use. There is some dark purple and there's some yellowish orange version. Hello, Unleashed Gamer. Normally I would let someone else carry the thingy, but I guess someone too busy trying to DPS. The issue is that if you're the healer and you're carrying the thingy, you cannot heal your friends. If you ever play Celestial and somehow you end up in a situation where you have a hard time doing the combos, just don't do the combos. Nah. And of course no one will grab the thingy. And no one will grab the thingy, so I have no choice but to do it. He's right next to it and he doesn't grab it. That drives me nuts. Celestial healing isn't bad. As I mentioned, it depends a lot on your combos. But then you have basically you have to make distinctions. In some battles, if the tank does a good job keeping the enemies away from you, you can do your combos no problem. In some battles, you get interrupted a lot. So at some point, you have to make distinctions, and you have to decide when it's appropriate to actually try to execute your combo, and when you have to just give up and not do your combo and just use your healer as if it was a regular healer. Pretty cool, Superman. Overall, it went fairly well, despite no one grabbing the urn at the end. And I had to grab the crystals, but other than that, can't complain. So, I'm not going to purchase anything just yet, but let's repair a bit. Oh, wrong machine. I guess I'll wait a bit. But Celestial Healing does fine. I did fine with this character for a long time. I haven't played much with it since Game Update 73. So if somehow they destroy the Celestial Healing, the way they kind of destroyed the controllers a bit, then it's possible that it wouldn't be as good as it used to be. But from what I remember, it should be good enough. I guess for the powers also it depends on how people play the powers. So often you'll see people complain that certain powers are garbage, but when you actually use them, realize that it's not that bad. Oh yeah, I'm an evil villain. I was going to the East End police station somehow. So we're done with the Halloween. We're done with the Riddler missions. So let's see what else can we do. I guess I could play the Iceberg Lounge. It's been a while. So I'll take give me just a minute. I'll be right back, and we'll play a couple of missions. Sorry about that. At 162, I wonder if I have access to the war-torn village. Let's find out. I'm a bit... Oh, there we go. So this weekend I'll probably go on a spending spree. There's a few things I want to purchase. Thanks to the 40% off on the marketplace on certain items. Of course, sadly, I already purchased the Batman Call. But there's probably a few items I should be able to purchase. I haven't played the War-Torn mission very much on the villain side, so... Just realized I have no idea where the entrance is. There we are. Not sure if I forget what the combat rating is for this mission. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's 186. Holy crap, it's more than I thought. I guess I could play some Amazon Fury missions then. I can't. Oh, I'm so sad now. I didn't realize there was this gap at 160 something where you didn't have access to a lot of missions. Oh well. Or we're going to go play then a mission or two that we haven't played in quite some times. So basically I could play the tier 8 and tier 7 solo missions. And some of the duos as well. So let's start with the Iceberg Lounge and we'll work our way down from there. So here we're going to switch back to DPS. Yes, I know my loadout is weird. Not sure why. That is strange. Well, not a big issue. It still works. So here, basically, to get started, it's a fun mission where they try to do something different. So I'll give them an A for effort for that. Although I'm sure a lot of people complained because this first part, all you do is talk to NPCs like Lex Luthor here. I'm always a bit surprised how small the NPCs are on certain maps. Not sure why, but oh well. And of course, there's some dancing we can do. And I guess this one is dancing too. I thought there was a photographer. Or it's probably a random thing. Ah, there we go. So let's talk to our friend Bruce Wayne.
Candy, Mandy, meet our guest.
I just heard a loud noise followed by a thud. What's going on back there?
Do you think anyone heard that?
Yes, and here they are. Well,
Ah, the cute Harley. I can't believe how much they destroyed the look of the character through the years.
you said it, Harley. Listen, the Penguin caught Catwoman on a heist.
Margot Robbie is a very pretty lady, and she ended up being a pretty Harley Quinn. But holy crap, they really went far away from the character.
Hey, you hear that, kitty? What happened?
But again, they did that in the comics too, so can't really blame the movie people on that one.
Why did the fun guy leave the party? Oh no.
Now let's start with those little fellas. So as you can see, even as a DPS, some of your combos will actually give you some healing back. And often that's enough to keep your DPS alive, long enough to be still alive at the end of the fight. But that's assuming that you do manage to complete your combos, in some cases. So let's take a minute or two to heal, no rush. And let's summon a few friends. was close. Let's go for the charm. We can't use the axe anyway.
Blood on it.
But either way, we're not going to use that. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, I can open this door. Catwoman taught me.
Watch her back while she gets that lock.
It's pretty important to complete your combos sometimes, even if all the enemies are down. Sometimes while you're waiting for the next wave of enemies, it gives you a chance to complete your combo without any trouble. Of course, there's a few tricks you can use to try not to be interrupted. As you saw, the shield didn't last very long. I pretty much hate the healer shields.
Got it.
So ideally, you'll try to juggle enemies so that they cannot attack you and then interrupt you, or you'll try to shield yourself so that you cannot be interrupted. So depending on the situation, but sometimes there's just nothing you can do. Sometimes enemies will juggle you like a ragdoll, so there's really nothing you can do when that happens. So when that happens, just play without using your combos. It's although Celestial seems to burn through power a bit more than I remember. Could be me misremembering also, that happens.
Use them to stop the gas.
But I could have sworn the combos didn't use that much power. Although there was some power back mechanic if you were using the combos, so that's probably why. I think they removed most of that. Okay, for this mission, if you guys ever had any trouble with penguins, there's this belief that if you stay just in the middle area here, the penguins never come here. They're the robot penguins. That's almost kind of true. The mods don't affect your combat rating, so Whether you have Type 8 mods or meta mods or no mods, that does not affect your combat rating at all. Oh. In the past, it used to. The mods used to count towards your combat rating, but that was changed quite some time ago. So now pretty much the only way to really increase your combat rating is with your gear. Upgrade your gear and your combat rating will go up. That's sadly the only way to do now. The gloves or the mods? Decisions. I don't think the gloves can help me, so might as well go for the mod. Actually, the gloves could help a bit. For one level, who cares? So again, John Henry, basically the only way you can raise your CR is to increase the quality of your gear. So try to get gear that's higher level than what you already have, and that is the way to get your CR higher. There's no magic formula for that.
I'm sorry, what? We are not kidnapping Bruce Wayne.
Oh no? I say we put it to a vote. Yay or nay? I vote yay.
Absolutely.
Well, let's put our gear
Not harming a single hair
aside.
on his head.
Later we'll do something with that.
Sorry, darling. Fine.
Aw, that's so sweet. We got a skill point. So let's get out of here. Actually, let's go straight to our lair. Let's see how many marks of victory I have. Oh well, we're not going to purchase anything anytime soon, which is fine. Let's sell a bit of crap we gathered. I'm always hesitant about these. I'm not sure if I'll ever do any crafting. So I always wonder if I should keep them or sell them. Although at some point I go crazy and I decide to sell the whole thing. That should help a bit. So now let's go to the deep desires, and we'll do the science spire after. Oh, you're so sweet, Micah. I have to admit, I would like to watch Stranger Things too. I watched the first 2 episodes and a half this morning. Basically, I stopped watching the third episode just to start the stream, which is why I started maybe 5 minutes later. Like basically, the time I realized that it was 5 sharp. So I stopped the episode I was watching, and by the time I started setting everything for the stream, it was 5:06, 5:10, I forget. Hello, Phantom Ninja Gaming.
Knows no
Now let's pull back a bit.
He's currently eating his way from the tunnel's kitchen through the rest of the wastelands. You might want to stop him before he eats something of value.
I'm a bit surprised. I remember being interrupted quite a lot by these evil demons. Hello, Wolf Baymont. But yeah, Mike, I understand what you mean, and I really appreciate you being here, because I too would die to continue watching Stranger Things, but we'll continue watching it after. And so far, I'm really happy to see. It's really nice just seeing the characters again from the show. I love the sheriff. I forget his name. He's going to be playing Hellboy in the upcoming Hellboy feature film. David Harbour. That's the name of the actor. I forget the name of the actual sheriff. Thank you, Wolf Bay Mods. I love them emojis. They're so sweet. So sadly, you saw how long the healer shield lasts, which is not long at all. So that reminds me why I Hopper. Oh yeah, thanks. But I'm not sure why. I could have sworn by the end of season 1 of Stranger Things, I thought he and Winona Ryder's character had a thing or something. So I was a bit surprised when I saw the episode and they don't seem to be together. Not sure if maybe we're going to see what happened between season 1 and season 2, and maybe something happened why they don't end up together. But I was a bit surprised by that. Although he does seem, obviously you see that the character really cares about Winona Ryder's character. Even goes with her when her son has to go see the scientist. The best movement? It depends. For a new player, I would say go with flying. If you never played this universe online and this is your first character, I would strongly suggest go with a flying character. There's a few reasons for that. Some of the maps are pretty tough to navigate if you're using an acrobat or a speedster. Like some of the maps, like the Farthest of Solitude, these are a little tough sometimes to navigate if you're using a speedster or an acrobat. So I would strongly suggest a flying character for your first character. And also sometimes you'll have stuff, I can't really show a good example, but sometimes you'll have stuff like in a hard to reach place where it's so much easier to go and grab the thing with your flying character, as opposed to trying to climb on a wall and trying to go into the corner with a speedster or with an acrobat. So for a new player, I would strongly suggest flying. But all the movement modes are good. But flying is a much more convenient and much easier to use for pretty much anyone. I'd say acrobat is. I'd say flying is perfect for new players. Acrobat is fine for intermediary players. And super speed, I'd say more advanced players could go with super speed. Skimming, I would put that pretty much on the same level as flying. Although I played my Magneto character was using skimming for a long time, and skimming is nice for certain things, like when you fly down. I'll try. when you fly down with your character face first, in some places you end up going a little too fast somehow, or a little harder to control, as opposed to skimming. When you slide down, it's a bit easier. But I couldn't. It's a little smoother flying than skimming. So even though both movement pretty much do the same thing, I couldn't help but after playing with skimming for a long time as my main character, when I switched back to flying, holy crap! I was a bit surprised at how smoother it was to actually fly with my character as opposed to using skimming all the time. But in terms of being able to control your character and go anywhere you want, skimming is as fine as flying. But I just can't help but after playing with skimming for a year or two, flying is a bit smoother somehow. The fastest, some players did some tests at some point, and supposedly Acrobat would be the fastest. It's a bit slower to get started when you start to glide, but once you pick up speed gliding, apparently it is the fastest. But by fastest, it's not like it's 3 times faster. It's like over a very long distance, Acrobat will beat super speed by like a length or two of the character. For the legends, I love Bizarro. I'm a big Bizarro fan. I can't really explain it, but the first time I played Bizarro, it's as if I had been playing Bizarro forever. So I really enjoyed playing Bizarro. Wonder Woman was a bit challenging to learn to use because she has a few combos that aren't very intuitive, and also they aren't very well explained. So it took me a while to figure out how to actually use her combos. But for the CW Supergirl, sadly, she's no longer available. But you still get the regular Supergirl, which is the exact same thing. She just doesn't have the combos. She doesn't have the same skin, sorry. Or still with Wonder Woman with her combos. But for Legends, I love Bizarro. The one I really don't like using is Robin. I remember early on when you start, Robin is the first legend you get as a hero player, and holy crap, I didn't like using Robin at all. Oh, you still have her. Once if you purchase the CW Supergirl, you'll have her forever. Sadly, if you didn't purchase it at the time, too bad. It's no longer available. But the very first legend I purchased was the Future Batman. As I mentioned, the first legend we get as a hero is Robin, and I hated using him. So the very first $5 I spent on this universe online was to purchase the Batman Legend character. So early on, I would use Batman, Future Batman, and later on, I would explore using other characters. For a while, I loved using Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Some of the powers, I really enjoyed the animation of some of the Green Lantern powers. And then, as I mentioned, I tried Bizarro. Loved using Bizarro. I tried Steel when Steel. There was a time when everyone was using Steel. Gave it a try, and I couldn't understand why people were using it. The Steel was really powerful at the time. He He had some healing, he had some shields, he had some ability that did a lot of damage. So it was easy to see why everyone was using was using steel at the time. It wasn't rare that you were facing a complete team of steel at that time. But then, of course, they had to nerf steel, and since then, I don't think steel was ever the same. Yeah, I watched the CW TV show. I don't think they'll add any more legends. There's only a few, a small section of the player base that actually plays legends. Let me rephrase that. There's only a small section of the player base who actually play any PvP at all. So the selling legend characters didn't work as well as they thought it would. They tried to give us PvE legends to try to make players who didn't play PvP to give players who didn't play PvP a reason to purchase the legend characters, and it didn't work. So they pretty much gave up. They pretty much gave up on legends. I don't know, almost maybe 3 years ago. Basically, they had announced that the next legend would be Grodd, and they pretty much scrapped whatever plans they had not long after. So we never got Grodd. Grodd was announced, but we never did get it. Yeah, I do watch the CW shows. I started watching Arrow like everyone else, and I remember when they first announced Arrow. I wasn't too sure. We had a version of Green Arrow just before, which was the Green Arrow from the Smallville TV show, and so I wasn't too sure about a TV show about Arrow or about Green Arrow that was just called Arrow. And you could tell at first that they were a bit embarrassed to be doing a superhero. They were trying to make it anything but a superhero TV show. Either that or they were trying to make it more acceptable to mainstream audience. Either way, I'll always remember, I think it was in episode 2 of the series, at some point someone mentioned, what should we call the Hood? They were calling him, yeah, the Hood at the time. And they were saying, what should we call him instead of the Hood? And someone suggested Green Arrow, and the very first thing that came out of Oliver Queen's mouth was that name is stupid. Which sadly is not very surprising, but it was a bit disappointing, I guess, at the time. But luckily, the success of the Flash TV show and the fact that Flash was successful, despite a lot of its more goofy aspects, made it so that a lot of things that I guess weren't possible when Arrow started pretty much became possible. Like early on in the first 2 seasons of Arrow, there was no question that they didn't want to use characters with superpowers. But thanks to the Flash TV show and how successful it was, they pretty much changed their approach, which was much appreciated. Even with the Flash, remember the first costume we got for the Flash? They tried to do anything to turn it into more mainstream. But now 3 years later, 4 years, damn, time goes by fast. But now we have a more comic book-like costume for the Flash, which is much appreciated. Yeah, but you could tell that you had all the signs that early on they weren't very thrilled to be doing a superhero TV show, and they were pretty much trying to be more mainstream. But luckily, the success of the Flash TV show, which had a lot more fantastical element, convinced them that they could actually have characters with superpowers in a superhero TV show, which was a little appreciated, much appreciated actually. No, I wouldn't use the slowdown for PvP. You would get interrupted pretty much all the time. and you wouldn't be able to pretty much do anything with. For PvP, I would strongly suggest going with loadouts that have nothing to do with combo. Maybe have one power or two that does combos, but as a rule of thumb, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't use combos. In PvP, usually the battle goes too fast. You don't have any time to do any combos. I wouldn't even put a supercharge because again the fight goes so fast that over usually you can't even fill your supercharge to do it one time. So there's a few things I would stay away from with the PvP loadout. Zatanna or Raven? Oh, I'd say Raven. But yeah, this loadout, don't use that for PvP. You'll get destroyed. Basically, this loadout depends a lot on depends on its combos and depends on the ability to be able to heal itself. Like basically, if I'm able to cast Plague, Plague will do damage over time, and also it will, if I do the combo, it will siphon energies from the target and pretty much give it back to me. And what's the other one? Malediction is another one. Like basically, once I do the combo, it will end up doing some sort of healing over time to me and the rest of the group if I was in a group. But I should probably rethink this loadout because this pretty much was a loadout that was uh, this was pretty much a loadout that was good at the time where we had the power back mechanic. Now it's still good, but I probably would have to rework this loadout. If I could show you a loadout for PvP, not really. I would have to experiment it for myself. Basically, I haven't played this character all that much since Game Update 73. So I would need to experiment a lot of things. I would have to test out the shields. The shields were stronger at some point after Game Update 73, and then they nerfed the shield quite a bit at some point. So I would have to try it out to see because normally I would have gone with a loadout that had a few shields or a lot of shields. Now I would have to try it out. I would probably go for a loadout that doesn't rely on combos. And if I could get a loadout that does damage and does healing a bit at the same time, that's probably what I would go for. But again, I would have to test out the powers and experiment. I would have to also be able to decide like, do I go with some very expensive powers that cost like 250, or should I go for a whole bunch of powers that cost 100? So I'll see about maybe showing some PvP loadouts, but I'm going to need to experiment a lot more before I can even do that. Sadly, DCUO made a lot of changes with Game Update 73, and there's quite a few powers that requires this one or this one. Let's go with this one. So there's quite a few powers in this universe online, as you guys know. So I would have to pretty much experiment with all the powers before I can even come up with something worth suggesting. Oh, too much stuff, and I'll put it back later. So let's play one last mission, and also I don't have any materials yet. So we're going to play where is it? We're going to play the Science Spire. That's probably going to be our last mission for today, unless I think of something else. DC versus Marvel. It depends. For the movies, Marvel. There's no denying it. Marvel did a much better job with their movies than DC ever did. For animation, DC. the DC animated universe by either by Bruce Timm or even afterwards, like the Young Justice.
Criminals, but I don't have time to be picky.
The skin is the zombie skin or undead skin, I forget.
Went after he left the Phantom Zone, and it seems some of his people took an interest in Lex
The
Luthor's
undead
science.
skin.
I knew then I needed to investigate. My guess
So
is
for
that
animation, Justice League, Young Justice, all the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series, all those were so far beyond anything Marvel did. Although I really enjoyed Marvel's Avengers, Mightiest Heroes, or something like that. But sadly, they had to cancel it after 2 seasons because DC bought Marvel, and a whole bunch of stuff changed in the animation department. I'm not watching it. The new Justice League action. I watched a few clips here and there. It's cute, but I'm an old man, so it's maybe a little too childish for me right now. So for the animation, I would go for it with DC. The few good things Marvel had, they pretty much scrapped for let's say not good reasons. You're so sweet, Fire Gamer. Thank you. Oh crap, that was my last cola. Let's summon a few friends. I'm not sure why I didn't do that before. And for TV, again, DC pretty much is the best right now. Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, even Supergirl, all those shows are awesome compared to what Marvel is doing. Agents of Shield, that wasn't a good show. Even though I did enjoy it in some parts, but even I had to admit that it wasn't a really good show. And the Inhumans TV show, that's pretty horrible. There's no other words for that. No, the DCEU, that's pretty much its own thing. The DCEU was pretty much the closest thing the comics had to the DCEU was the New 52. And on TV also, there was the Marvel have the Netflix TV shows, which are pretty successful right now. I wasn't too crazy about Daredevil. I understand that it was a bit darker and grittier, which is why probably a lot of people seems to enjoy that show. But whenever I watched the Daredevil TV show, I couldn't help but think that, holy crap, it was really, really cheap. I could see the cheapness in every scene, every frame. It was a TV show that was made for a handful of quarters, and it shows at every turn. They really limit the settings so that it costs as little as possible to produce. The characters also, the way the show is shot. There's even some filler episodes to try to keep the budget really low. So I had a hard time getting into the Daredevil TV show. But by the end of the first season, I kind of liked it. I liked some of the characters. But overall, I wasn't too crazy about a lot of stuff in the Daredevil TV show. The second season of Daredevil was a bit better, and the Punisher was probably the best part. Uh, Silver Banshee, I would say. And I hated the Iron Fist TV show. I hated the Elias TV show. Or Jessica Jones, I should say, TV show. The only thing I liked about the Jessica Jones TV show was Kilgrave. And they, anyway, I won't spoil it for those who may not have seen it. I hated Luke Cage. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the Punisher. Although from what we saw so far, they're pretty much starting on the wrong foot with the Punisher for two reasons. They seem to want to go with a storyline where the poor Punisher is hunted down by the evil government, and not even because the Punisher is killing people, but because there was something sinister going on in the army when the Punisher was in the army, and that's why the army wants to take out the Punisher, which goes so much against the Punisher. The Punisher was never the Punisher versus the army. It was a Punisher versus a random gangster that killed his family. And the Punisher was a soldier. He respected the army. He didn't have a beef against the army. He wasn't fighting the army. He was a good soldier. I've played a controller the most in this universe online, so I can manage my power well enough. There's a few reasons for that. Usually, either I'll go with powers that don't drain my power bar too much. So yeah, I'll go with, let's say, a bunch of powers that don't cost a lot to cast. So that usually helps a bit. Like if you go with powers, let's take a quick look. Like right now you can see 100, 200, 200. The most expensive I have is Consume Soul and Plague. So if I don't use those too much, Plague has a long cooldown, so I won't be able to use it all that much. But if I spam pretty much Haunt and Malediction, or even Haunt by itself, I should be able not to drain my power too much. Usually, well, I'll probably pretty much alternate between Haunt and Consume Soul, and then I'll use whatever other powers I need on the fly. And I use the combos as much as I can, as you saw. Of course, sometimes using the combos is not an option. When that's the case, then just don't do any combos. Just use the powers they are, as if you didn't have any combos. I'm sure we'll get a bunch of emblems around the time of the Justice League film. Fire, it depends on your loadout. I have a pretty good fire loadout. That doesn't drain your power that much. Although, I haven't played with it all that much since Game Update 73, so maybe it's different now. But for the emblems, pretty sure we're going to get some emblems around the time of the Justice League film. But it's going to be also around the time of the Earth 3 DLC with the Crime Syndicate of America. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get some emblems, like some emblems for Ultraman or Superwoman or Howlman. But if we're lucky, maybe we'll get a new Superman emblem at that time. Not unlike what they just did with Batman. So I'm pretty sure in November when we get the new batch of time capsules, we will have some new emblems. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a new Superman emblem, because we're way overdue for that. But I can't guarantee you that that's what's going to happen.
The information Zod is after. Let's see what we've got here.
For the BVS emblems,
City of Kandor.
the BVS emblems we'll never get those again. So I wouldn't expect that.
Kandor, he'll have to go through us first. We can't trust him with this information.
And seeing how it seems the BVS emblem, the BVS swag bag, there was some sort of licensing issues. I'm pretty sure we'll never get emblems like that again. My guess is that if we get new Justice League emblems, they could release a bunch of Justice League emblems at the same time as the film. But my guess is that it would be emblems from the comic, like they just did with the Batman emblem. We got a brand new Batman emblem, but it is the Batman emblem from the Rebirth comic. So my guess is they'll pretty much stick to releasing stuff that has to do with the comic. But again, they could release it at the same time as the film. So let's say when there's the Aquaman film, they could decide, for example, to release maybe an Aquaman emblem. That's a bad example because we already got an Aquaman emblem last summer. But yeah, I'm sure you get what I mean. So I think that's going to be it for now. Basically, I'll probably take a minute or two to go through my my gear. Oh yeah, let's see if was that a good move or a bad move. Oh, actually not too bad. So that's going to be it for now, guys. So basically, I'll just go through the new stuff I have, do a bit of cleaning up, probably reimprint my armories, sell whatever I don't need. Oh, well, let's collect that. Oh, just one more and we'll be done. Wow. Where's that we got? What else do we have? We got a new weapon. We got a new mask. Oh, we got a red mod. Yeah, I shouldn't be modded in precision. I should be modded with power. But that's a character that I didn't play all that much since Game Update 73, so I wasn't able to update the mods just yet. Baby steps. I'll do that at some point. Although I think, did I use... I guess I'll use my replacement mod sooner rather than later. So that's going to be it for now, guys, I think. So basically, I'll do a bit of house cleaning. This weekend, I'm not sure if I'll do any streaming or not. Basically, I'm going to try to probably binge watch the rest of Stranger Things. I'll probably also try to play a bunch of Riddler missions to be able to profit from the bonus marked bills. And I'll probably play a few Halloween missions to try to get some spooky candy before the Halloween seasonal is over. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.